Welcome to the Tech Mobility Podcast, brought to you by Playbook Investors Network, your strategic partner for unstoppable growth. Visit pincommunity.org to get started.
I'm Ken Chester. On the docket, my impressions and review of the 2026 Lexus NX 350 Hybrid, factory robot news, and how a weightless camera is changing live sports. To add your voice to the conversation, be it to ask a question, share an opinion, or to even suggest a topic for future discussion, call or text the Tech Mobility Hotline. That number, 872-222-9793, or you can email the show directly, talk@techmobility.show. From the Tech Mobility News Desk, thought I'd peek in on Tesla. And I want to talk about products, actually. I want to talk about products right now. Products are the kind of thing. And to be direct and blunt with you, this year, Tesla is ending the production of the Model S and the Model X, second quarter. They're in the process of pivoting towards humanoid robots. Seems like that's the thing right now. This is from Automotive News. Let me get to it here. They said, Tesla will end production of the Model S sedan and Model X SUV in the second quarter of this year. Tesla's California factory, where the two electric models have been built since 2012 and 2015 respectively, will be retooled for mass production of the company's humanoid Optimus robots, with the long-term goal of producing 1 million units a year. I don't know how long it will take them to get to 1 million units, but do I have questions? It seems that right now a lot of companies are looking at bringing humanoid robots onto the factory floor. Predominantly automakers, but not just automakers, any manufacturer that has mundane jobs that need to be done a certain way every time, over a period of time. The beautiful thing about robots, obviously, is they don't need to sleep. They don't get sick. They don't get sometimey like us humans. You know, we'll do something 99.9% of the time, but that one time we got distracted or didn't do it quite right. A robot properly programmed never misses, never needs to take day off, can run 24/7. And that's kind of where they're going. They believe that that's going to be their thing. They are going to spend this year, Tesla, $20 billion, which includes funding for what they call a terafab chip facility to produce chips domestically that integrate logic, memory, and packaging. Could this be a kind of in the face thing for NVIDIA that right now is the hot chip company that can't seem to keep up? I wonder. He did say that this will lessen its reliance on overseas suppliers and shield the company from geopolitical risks, meaning China. Here's something else that was buried in the story. They plan to scale up production of its Cybercab robotaxi, which is slated to enter production in April. They predict that the Cybercab production volume will eventually exceed that of all other Tesla vehicles combined. It's a part of our overall shift to an autonomous future, they said. The Cybercab will be built as a fully autonomous vehicle, according to the company, without steering wheel or pedals. There's no fallback mechanism here. It's like either the car drives itself or it does not drive. Let's talk about that for a minute. Right now in the United States of America, there are no federal laws codifying a fully autonomous vehicle. Yes, there are robotaxis running in Arizona, Texas, and California. There are autonomous trucks running those same states. But as far as in the rest of the country, as far as at volume over streets, no. And until to get to where he's going, get to where Tesla's going, they're expecting that Cybercab product will produce more than every other thing combined. The number that you need to know. Last year, 2025, Tesla built 1.65 million vehicles globally. 1,650,000 vehicles globally. They expect the Cybercab to exceed that. By comparison, the Model S, the Model X, and the Cybertruck combined, in case you were wondering, of that total was only 54,000 units. Those three combined, meaning most of what they sold was the Model 3 and the Model Y, which is based off of the Model 3. The one we laughed at him, we said there's no way you could do it, but he's doing it through 3 different plants globally: China, Germany, and the United States. They think that repurposing their Fremont plant, the original plant, which, by the way, started life as a General Motors plant, in case you didn't know, to build robots. Where are you going to sell 1 million robots a year? Not 1 million over 5 years, 1 million a year just from Tesla. And please understand, Tesla's not the only company in the game. There are industrial robot companies that are building single-use, single-purpose robots that are being used in automotive plants right now. The humanoid robots are taking it to the next level in terms of multitasking and doing more complicated things, because all the other robots currently being used in auto assembly plants that they've been putting in there the last 30, 40 years are single-purpose, single-use, typically welding and material handling is usually where they are deployed currently. Dangerous jobs that required more precision and accuracy, but were dangerous for the fumes, for the metal, for a million different things. And yeah, they've had automated welders for at least 30 of those 40 years. Actually, no, I take that back. It's been longer. I remember being in a plant in 1981 that had robotic welding, but not robotic painting. And that's another place that they use robots now in the auto assembly plants. But Optimus robots. Tesla thinks their future is in the Cybercab, the Optimus robot, and their power storage or energy storage business, which was good for $12.8 billion worth of revenue last year, which was a 26.6% year-over-year increase. And they fully expect that that rapid growth will continue. So the company will spend more money. And this kind of makes sense because what they're offering is the gap between renewable energy as it's generated and the grid, because it's not consistent and they need something consistent. Tesla pioneered that, ironically, in Western Australia a number of years ago, which gave Western Australia its first consistent power in decades. Because they had renewables, but, you know, the sun doesn't always shine and the wind doesn't always blow. And if you're putting it into the grid at that time, either you have too much of it and the grid can't absorb it all, or you don't have enough of it. The batteries between the two took the excess, stored it as energy, and released it into the grid it was needed. It was the balance. And then, of course, Tesla, and again, they're not the only ones, home use, if you're using solar power and a bunch of different things, they've got the Powerwall. So that business is blowing up. So as they pivot away from being mainly a car company, they feel that humanoid robots, autonomous vehicles, and energy storage systems are their future. It was only a matter of time till they proved that a sedan, or at least one like the Model S, isn't going to cut it in what people want today. They want more flexibility. Oh, well, who knew, right? But that's where we're at right now. And I thought I'd just bring you up to date on what was going on over at Tesla. No mention of the Boring Company, though. That's interesting. But I guess we'll hear. That was a thing for a minute. But I guess it's not part of their plans now, because nowhere does it talk about that at all in terms of what they're doing and what they're planning to do this year. So, matter of time. When we return, my impressions and review of the 2026 Lexus NX 350 Hybrid. This is the Tech Mobility Show.
business, opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Playbook Investors Network, we connect visionary entrepreneurs with the strategies, resources, and capital they need to win. Whether you're launching, scaling, or reimagining your business, our network turns ambition into measurable success. Your vision deserves more than a plan. It deserves a playbook that works. Playbook Investors Network, where bold ideas meet bold results. Visit pincommunity.org today.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
Every great business starts with a spark, but taking it to the next level takes strategy, connections, and capital. That's where Playbook Investors Network comes in. We're your strategic partner for accelerating growth, navigating challenges, and capturing market opportunities before your competition does. Your business is more than an idea. Let's make it an impact. Playbook Investors Network. Your future starts here. Learn more at pincommunity.org.
Recently, a group of uncompromising buyers experienced a showing of the finest contemporary works, including the latest performance art from Lexus.
Strong lines.
I love the look.
It certainly makes a bold statement.
It's the all-new Lexus RX 400h, the world's first luxury hybrid.
I just drove one.
How was it?
The power was great. More like a V8 than a V6. And the way it handles.
The gas and electric motors move the RX 400h from 0 to 60 in an impressive 6.9 seconds. While an advanced stability control system inspires confident handling under virtually all driving conditions.
Let's get in. Nice.
And you say it's more fuel efficient?
Yeah, it's the latest technology.
In the Lexus hybrid system, braking energy is converted into electric power. So even when you stop, you're creating the energy to go. With fewer visits to the gas pump and nothing to plug in.
It really seems like the best of both worlds.
Performance, fuel economy.
Yeah, and low emissions.
The RX 400h creates nearly 80% fewer smog-forming emissions than today's conventionally powered SUVs. So you can make a difference in the face of a changing environment.
You know, I really get a sense of what this piece is saying.
And what's that?
It says, no compromise.
Gives more to the driver. Takes less from the world. The Lexus RX 400h, the world's first luxury hybrid. Discover more on the web at lexus.com/discoveryhybrid.
I don't usually run a 2-minute commercial, so I can understand if you're a little confused. But the reason why I did it, I drove that car. That's from 2006. I drove it when it first came out, and it is every bit as good as the commercial says. However, a second reason for doing that is it's a great segue into the hybrid that I'm talking about today, which is a Lexus. It's the next size down. It's the NX. But I could say everything about the NX I could apply from that commercial for the RX, I can apply to this NX. But let me introduce you. The Lexus NX is a compact luxury crossover SUV. Introduced in 2014, it's positioned between the subcompact UX and the midsize RX in the company's SUV lineup. According to the automaker, NX stands for nimble crossover. Fun fact, the first generation NX shared a small number of parts with the more pedestrian Toyota RAV4, primarily vehicle structure and wheelbase. Other important factors as the styling, suspension hardware, engine choices, as well as the level of luxury and craftsmanship, well, that remained exclusively Lexus, and you would figure it would. With the arrival of the second generation in 2021, the NX became a completely new model underpinned by Toyota's GAK platform. In addition to the Japan assembly plant, Lexus added production at a Canadian facility in Cambridge, Ontario. The new NX incorporates Lexus's new design philosophy, which includes overlapping L-shaped daytime running lamps and a 3 LED headlight array, which is standard. Offered in gasoline and hybrid powertrains and in front and all-wheel drive configurations, this review is about the NX 350h all-wheel drive model. For 2026, the NX 350h brings power and fuel economy improvements, pairing the DS4-S fuel injection 2.5-liter four-cylinder gasoline engine, a 1.1 kilowatt-hour battery pack, and up to 2 high-torque electric drive motor generators for strong acceleration and passing performance. When equipped, instead of transfer gears and a drive shaft to the rear wheels, the all-wheel drive system employs a second independent electric motive to drive the rear wheels when it detects it is needed to help support traction. The hybrid powertrain produces 240 combined system horsepower and has a 0 to 60 time of 7.2 seconds. And all-wheel drive guys, the vehicle delivers an EPA fuel economy rating of 41 city, 37 highway. Front-wheel drive models have a 0 to 60 time of 8.2 seconds and turn in EPA fuel economy numbers of 42 city, 37 highway. Cargo capacity is 46.9 cubic feet with the second and third row seats folded flat. Towing capacity is 2,000 pounds. I should correct that, second row. This thing, no third row. Yep, sorry about that. Here's what I liked about the Lexus NX. This vehicle is perfect for effortless, comfortable driving. Drivers will find user-friendly displays, controls, and switchgear that is easy to read and use. As you would expect, the NX benefits from the Lexus approach to bank vault body integrity while being responsively nimble at speed, easy for driver to machine to become one. The Lexus NX is a true interstate campaigner that you can drive comfortably for miles. The NX 350 offers a pure EV mode, along with on-demand gear hold and off-road, Eco, Sport, Sport S, Sport S Plus, and custom drive modes. One word, as always, fog lights, because I like my fog lights. The NX is equipped with a level of comfort and convenience features that you would expect in a Lexus. In addition to the optional panoramic sunroof, there are no less than 3 different ways to open the rear hatch, which includes an optional foot sensor activation. For rear seat passengers, the available outboard heated seat, center armrest with dual cup holders, and power split fold-down seating that folds virtually flat with the cargo area floor only adds to the versatility and functionality of the crossover. The cargo area is impressive for a vehicle of this size, not to mention the additional underfloor space. To the vehicle's credit, the NX is shod with run-flat tires, which in case of a tire failure allows the motorist to travel up to 50 miles without need for a spare. I can't emphasize this right here enough. Many times in vehicles that I've reviewed in recent years, they've gotten rid of the spare, but really didn't give you an option of, either self-sealing tires or run flats or whatever. I commend Lexus for this, because up till recently, I was told that in order to have run flats on the vehicle, that the chassis needed to be redesigned in such a way to support run flats because of their structure and how that happens if the tire does in fact fail. Run flats mean exactly that. If they lose their air, they still maintain structural capability to get you where you need to go. No, you can't drive on it for 3,000 or 4,000 miles, but it will get you where you need to go in a pinch, and it beats being stranded. Here's what I didn't like about the Lexus NX. In the midst of all that goodness, I have a few complaints. The high cargo floor height, which may present a challenge to drivers of short stature, and the rear seat accommodations are a bit snug for 2 people. It's not designed for 3. The bottom line, the Lexus hits the mark for its intended audience. Not too small, not too large. Lexus comfortable with performance and great fuel economy to match. Run flat tires mean not being stranded in the worst conditions. For a number of motorists, the Lexus NX 350h will be the obvious choice. The base manufacturer suggested retail price of the NX 350h starts from $45,470 for the 350h front-wheel drive up to $55,495 for the 350h all-wheel drive F-Sport handling model. Destination charges add $1,295. There are plenty going on with factory robots, automotive and otherwise. An update. This is the Tech Mobility Show.
You've got the drive. You've got the vision. Now you need the right partner to make it happen. At Playbook Investors Network, we power ambitious leaders with the tools, insight, and investment connections to move faster, grow stronger, and lead markets. We're more than advisors. We're your co-pilots in success. Because in business, standing still is not an option. Playbook Investors Network, fueling ambition, delivering results. Visit pincommunity.org.
Did you know that Tech Mobility has a YouTube channel? Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. Each week, I upload a few short videos of some of the hot topics that I cover during my weekly radio program. I've designed these videos to be informative and entertaining. It's another way to keep up on current mobility and technology news and information. Be sure to watch, like, and subscribe to my channel. That's the Tech Mobility Show on YouTube. Check it out. More and more, industry is turning to robots to do the mundane and dangerous tasks on the factory floor. While many in heavy industries like automotive manufacturing, this has been a constant for decades. The pace and complexity of what these increasingly sophisticated machines are doing and are expected to do on the factory floor is turning in mixed results. This is Topic B. When I was preparing for this segment, I thought I was going to have time to talk about Amazon and maybe touch on what was going on automotively. But as I did the research and looked at what was actually going on, I realized I was going to have time to share with you what Amazon is doing, because there's a lot. And some of it, I wanted to correct the reporting because you may have read about Amazon's push for robots. And the way that the pieces were presented, and I have to take some of the blame, was that it was mainly looked at to be reducing their headcounts. That was the goal. That was why they were doing it. Digging a little deeper, while that is certainly something that may happen, is not actually the goal of where they're going. Because Amazon, and I need to start before I even delve into the rest of this, but the thing I found interesting, Amazon talked about upskilling their labor force, that they wanted robots that were collaborative with humans, not necessarily to always replace them, but collaborative, working with humans and training the humans to be more diagnostic, doing the things of more mind, less body, which I'm all for. Basically getting to a point where the robots were doing all the heavy lifting, twisting, and bending, while the human beings were doing more of the thinking and strategizing and planning and repair and maintenance. Like that. Did you know that Amazon actually has robot manufacturing facilities? They have 2 in Massachusetts. One in North Reading, Massachusetts, and the other one in Westboro, Massachusetts. Both not far from where I grew up, actually. One was 250,000 square feet. I think the other one was 350 or 375,000 square feet. And they build not one type of computer, not one type of humanoid robot, but several. So let me talk about where they actually failed right now, and then we'll work backwards. Because everybody thinks that, I don't tell both sides of the story. Well, let's talk about a failure at Amazon, a robot that didn't work out. It's called Blue Jay. And they were touting Blue Jay as being the next big, great, shiny thing for its ability to multitask. That lasted a few months. The headline is, Amazon pulls the plug on Blue Jay warehouse robot after only a few months. Reason? Blue Jay faced high cost and complexities. Amazon refocuses on Orbital system. We'll talk about Orbital in a minute. It's for modular, scalable, same-day delivery in smaller warehouses. If you've been near any sort of major metropolitan area in the last 5 years, you have noticed, at least somewhere near your community, a large Amazon warehouse being built. Sometimes they bought and converted malls, sometimes other warehouse space, sometimes they built them from scratch. Here in central Iowa, they didn't only build a ginormous warehouse, they built 2 feeders plus a same-day warehouse to match it. So we actually have 3. We have the big ginormous one, we have a feeder one, which is 270,000 square feet, and then a few miles away, we have a same-day delivery warehouse. All Amazon. All built in the last 10 years, actually the last 5. Where Amazon wants to go eventually is the smaller same-day, what they're calling same-day warehouses, a smaller footprint. And that's where Orbital comes in. But let me touch back on Blue Jay for a minute. Blue Jay was their multi-armed robotic system. They launched in October for their same-day delivery warehouses. But they quietly shut it down in January. January. Barely made it 3 months. And the move shows how hard it is to develop AI robotics technology that's useful and cost-effective. Generative AI has made huge gains in the digital world thanks to free training data on the web. In the physical realm, what they're calling physical AI, useful training data is harder to come by. And the challenges of operating robots in real-world settings are much greater because there are so many variables. The same challenges you have on the warehouse floor for a multifunctional robot is the same problem that autonomous cars have in the real world, which is why you don't have personal autonomous cars yet. Too many variables, too many things that could go wrong, too much you got to train it, literally. And it's just not practical yet. But here's something that money allows Amazon to do that many businesses can't. Terrence Clark, an Amazon spokesperson, told Business Insider that Blue Jay's core technology will be carried over to other initiatives across the company's network of warehouses. He added that Blue Jay was one of several warehouse robotics bets Amazon has made alongside efforts such as Vulcan, Sparrow, and Proteus. All I'm going to say is money means choice. When you have that kind of money, you can spread your bets. You can develop different and sometimes opposing technologies to find out which one's going to work. Not everybody has that opportunity. Amazon does, and they have done it because they've got others. The challenge that they've got, in fact, let me just skip down. I want to skip down. I'm going to skip some of this stuff. I think I've beat Blue Jay to death. We've already said it cost too much. It was too hard to put together, and implementing it was a nightmare. And that's kind of where they were at on that. But let's talk about what else they're doing. Amazon is making a shift in how they do their delivery business. And this shift is away from the older same-day warehouse system known internally as local vending machine, which were the big monolithic systems that you've seen, the big ginormous warehouses you can see from miles away. In those systems, automation was tightly integrated into a single massive structure. Now, what they're looking at is pivoting to a new same-day warehouse system called Orbital. And unlike the local vending machine, but LVM, Orbital is designed to be modular, consisting of many components that can be assembled in different configurations. And the more flexible structure is intended to make the system easier to deploy and scale. Think about this. Different structures for different parts of the country based on different demand that they can modify as opposed to sinking the big kind of money that they have been. I don't know what that's going to mean to their older systems where they've already built the big, ginormous warehouses. I imagine they'll probably still use those. Maybe those become regional hubs or something. We'll see. But they build their own robots into plants designed to go out, ready-made to hit the factory floor, to hit the warehouse floor, ready to use. And the feedback they get modifies the robots as they need to be more effective. 2 plants, both in Massachusetts, building robots now for Amazon. When is a camera not a camera? And what does that mean for the industry? That's next. We are the Tech Mobility Show.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. That's techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
In business, opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Playbook Investors Network, we connect visionary entrepreneurs with the strategies, resources, and capital they need to win. Whether you're launching, scaling, or reimagining your business, our network turns ambition into measurable success. Your vision deserves more than a plan. It deserves a playbook that works. Playbook Investors Network, where bold ideas meet bold results. Visit pincommunity.org today.
Did you know that Tech Mobility has a YouTube channel? Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. Each week, I upload a few short videos of some of the hot topics that I cover during my weekly radio program. I've designed these videos to be informative and entertaining. It's another way to keep up on current mobility and technology news and information. Be sure to watch, like, and subscribe to my channel. That's the Tech Mobility Show on YouTube. Check it out. So, when is a camera not a camera? A Norwegian company called Muybridge, named after motion picture pioneer Edvard Muybridge, says that 400 years of camera history have come to an end. It's called a weightless camera, and it has no moving parts, but it has the ability to capture the speed and motion of live sports in a ways that our eyes are not accustomed to. Welcome to the future. This is Topic C. What they have developed looks nothing like a camera that you know. Doesn't even look like a GoPro. Nothing. There are no moving parts. And oh, by the way, if you're thinking about mirrors and all that kind of stuff, stuff to get focus right, lenses, all that stuff, nope. None of that. None of that. If you are, say, Canon, Sony, somebody else that makes a motion picture camera right now, your industry is in the process of being turned upside down and inside out with this technology. Let me give you an example. If you are a person that enjoys tennis, if you enjoy watching tennis competition, if you have recently watched the Madrid Open, in particularly the tournament between Casper Ruud and Jack Draper last spring, that remarkable camera perspective that you enjoyed was done and provided and delivered by this camera. You didn't see any discernible blurs or delays. You saw smoothly flowing live footage that had the hyper-real feel of a video game. No robotic cameras, and not even any drones. They were generated in real time by a software-based camera system developed by MyBridge. They use software with no moving parts, with sensors. And here's the part that's killer. They're doing it with off-the-shelf parts, off-the-shelf sensors, off-the-shelf stuff. They're not spending money. There's no complicated, expensive hardware that they're using. Not at all. And that's the magic. Let me go a little further. Their software and their weightless camera is what they're calling it, captures speed and motion of live sports in a way that we're not accustomed to. And in the coming year, viewers of televised sports will get to see many more of these revelatory perspectives, both in tennis and beyond. Can you imagine watching a football game? Now, you've seen them. You watch football games, and you've seen the robotic cameras at some point as you've gone around. You've caught a glimpse of them, giving you the overfield view and all of this stuff. Can you imagine having access in real time to maybe conversations on either side of the field, where you get to listen in to the huddles directly in real time, no blur, no nothing? Yeah. They mentioned 400 years of history entered here. And honestly, what they claim to be doing is not that far off from the pioneer of motion picture development. And in the 1870s, what the man did back then is he created a groundbreaking images of a galloping white horse, and he set up a line of cameras that were triggered by tripwire as the horse ran past them, creating multiple images that captured a different phase of the horse's stride. By overlapping the images, he made a picture that appeared to move. It's a similar way of thinking. What they're doing is taking a bunch of cheap cameras, putting them around a venue, and using software from any angle, because software, there's no need for color correction or anything, and using the software for take and process those images in real time and show them to you. They call it computational photography. And they believe that by adopting that, they could get rid of over 600 pounds of metal and robots. It was like removing gravity. They're not covered by any physical limitation. Instead of using big, expensive cameras that you move to chase whatever's happening on the court or sports field, MyBridge puts hundreds of small, inexpensive video sensors all over the place and uses software to create smooth tracking shots and conjure any angle on demand. In practice, this looks like extra long speaker bars packed with a row of oversized smartphone camera lenses. And these arrays come in 2-meter lengths that can be connected to form what amounts to a single continuous camera of virtually any length. They're going to build future digital stadiums full 360. In other words, they will put these cameras all around the stadium. You'll be able to see it at any angle, eliminates all that other stuff, and get it to see it in real time. And unlike traditional cameras, which can obstruct spectator views at live events, MyBridges clamp up unobtrusively to any wall or structure, capturing the action on the court, field, or rink unnoticed. This is so incredibly, simply simple. It is such a simple, elegant approach to capturing live events in real time on the dirt cheap. Our biggest issue at the U.S. Open was the coaches and athletes sat on it, he said. This is the founder of the company. They didn't realize that it was a camera along the ad boards. I said a few minutes ago, and I'm going to say it again, made from commodity electronics components. The sensors themselves are relatively inexpensive. And because the consumer electronics and mobile industry consumes so many cameras, they've taken costs down. You can thank your cell phone for that. Sensors are largely unchanged, but what improved was the algorithms to create better pictures, and the company is piggybacking on that. To meet the demands of a live broadcast, Muybridge brings an updated approach to the reconstruction of 3D images. The rest of the world's been throwing more and more compute at the problem, running math on the GPU layer and trying to fill in the blanks. That's led into something that's much faster than it was 20 years ago, but it can still take 8 minutes to process the images for replay. Our focus has always been doing it in real time, and we wanted to be able to run it on a laptop, in the cloud, or on a mobile phone. And that is where all the little cameras come in. We have more pixels, more angles, more overlap. That allows us to have a cleaner mathematical approach to determine exact color, perspective, and all of those things. It's all backed by pixel data. We don't do any approximation. They're looking at doing it at more sports. They're even looking at doing it in the emergency room. Can you imagine having ability to see more in real time? But more sports, you're going to see it in more places in the years to come.
This is the Tech Mobility Podcast.
Every great business starts with a spark, but taking it to the next level takes strategy, connections, and capital. That's where Playbook Investors Network comes in. We're your strategic partner for accelerating growth, navigating challenges, and capturing market opportunities before your competition does. Your business is more than an idea. Let's make it an impact. Playbook Investors Network. Your future starts here. Learn more at pincommunity.org.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than aonmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. aonmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
You've got the drive. You've got the vision. Now you need the right partner to make it happen. At Playbook Investors Network, we power ambitious leaders with the tools, insight, and investment connections to move faster, grow stronger, and lead markets. We're more than advisors. We're your co-pilots in success. Because in business, standing still is not an option. Playbook Investors Network, fueling ambition, delivering results. Visit pincommunity.org.